Okay, good day everybody again. I've moved from down in the Logan Parklands
The home
now,
point has been updated. Take off.
and now I'm flying the Inspire 1 from Mount Taylor in Logan City. I've got to be careful here. There's no people around, but if I stray too far away I'll be in violation of overflight rules. And also with the being on top of the very peak that I've flown off, I want to watch that I'm not exceeding the maximum allowed heights. Okay, Mount Taylor here is not far from where I live, and it has some very interesting history for this, for Australia. This was one of the first areas settled in this area about the 1850s or so. And in the late 1800s, a gold vein was discovered pretty much right under here where you're looking. And it was never a huge paying vein. It stopped and started its being mined over the years. And finally in 1953, I think, when my grandparents owned the first store shop for us English Australian people in Logan City, the final owner was an Indian gentleman named Dilipa, or final director anyway, closed it down as it just wasn't paying enough. And right underneath this utility here that you're looking at, which was once a bowling alley and now a place of worship, was a huge open cut mine. It was open cut, and my mother and her brother and two sisters used to come up and swim in it. And what they did, as a lot of you would know, gold mining uses cyanide and all sorts of toxic substances for settling the gold, etc. They just tipped all of those chemicals into the open cut, which filled with water over the years and sank. And then in the late 1960s, it was filled for development. And I'll swing towards the area where it was developed up to. It's now been resumed, but you can see houses down there. And this area where we're looking, it looks unusually flat because there's about 10 feet of topsoil placed over that, and then a non-porous rubber cap. Because in the late 80s, a black toxic sludge started to ooze from the ground under the houses. People started getting very sick and showing all sorts of reaction. And the usual official response was received, which is, there's nothing wrong. And but of course there was. And eventually it was resumed by the council. I'm just checking on the proximity of the road down there. I don't want to overfly. Okay, I'm looking good. The council eventually resumed 2 or 3 suburban streets and sealed the top of Mount Taylor. And these buildings here, that was a shopping centre. It's now a gymnasium. And that there to the left of shot coming into centre was the bowling alley. And that's now a place of worship. They pre-existed, and they were allowed to continue, but not for such a public use as they once were. And I'll have a bit of a fly. I'm only 150 metres away here. I'll have a bit of a fly around the parkland and let you have a look. Flying the Inspire 1 today with relatively new batteries. I know that's rare to hear on an Inspire 1 in this day and age, so I may not get a lot of duration out of them. Just being careful not to overfly. That's a private road there that you can see. I'm sorry guys, I'm flying by myself today and I've had to hike up the mountain. I can't monitor the chat. Yep. There we go, another little interruption. Getting too much of that on the Inspire. That's OcuSync for you, I guess. Okay, and I'm just going to head back across here, coming back towards me. Not sure whether you're seeing that in the broadcast. And if you would look down that way, I'm not saying exactly where, but actually it's the other way. Down that way is where I live, a few streets down into there. And down here we have the parkland, where we can... What happened there? Not sure whether that was something flying in front of the camera or whether it was a video interruption, which I've been getting a few of. And I'll fly down over the parkland there and have a bit of a look for you guys, making sure there's nobody in there. So I live in a pretty good part of the world. There is some urbanisation, but plenty of green spaces, which is good. I'm only showing about 5 metres above takeoff point here, so I should be well within the 400-foot limit of the parklands. Having a bit of a look-see around. And that's the bottom of the infamous Diamond Street, which was at the height of the resumption. Looking down to the south towards the New South Wales border. And I'll do the pirouette. Sorry, that's towards the border, my mistake. No, it's not. Coming back towards north now. I'm used to the display on the Mavic and the other drones, which is somewhat better, and especially in the orientation of the GPS, it lets me know exactly where I am far better than this one does. There I am, in the centre of screen, and I can hear, 30 metres away, and I can hear it. The old Spire, there's no way you're going to lose it, that's for sure. Not sure whether any of you guys are watching, but greetings to whoever is. As I said when I made the first flight, which you may not have seen, I know that it's not a good time for the US. I'm just out cycling some batteries. I need to cycle them on the Inspire, and there we go. I'm going to head away. You can certainly tell I'm banking the old Inspire. A few walking trails here. And now I'll head back.
Adding mode.
Oh, compass error. Exit GPS mode. Okay, I'm out of GPS mode. Now I'm back into GPS mode. And I've got 16. That's always a bit of a worry, isn't it? And that, my friends, is a time where you do not want to panic. Now I'm down below 50% battery, so I'm in a nice place where I can store this battery at this point. I'm going to bring it down and call it quits for the broadcast. Thanks very much, everybody who's joined me. And we'll just bring the old girl down. Bye for now.